So let's start at Nkandla. KwaZulu-Natal councillors are saying that the former president continues to play a key role in the ANC. Those councillors have been visiting Jacob Zuma this afternoon, apparently seeking advice as they begin their 5-year terms. Our senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is there. He joins us now. Hi there, Sipa. The visit has just finished, we understand. What do you know about what the visit was about and who exactly was there?
Well, mostly ANC councillors from eThekwini and from Umhlathuze under General Kizenga Mpanza, that will be Watuguza, and from Umhlathuze that will be Musadladla region. So you heard about 3 regions of the ANC coming here, but mainly councillors of the ANC. They say their visit was to come here and thank the former president for his role in contribution to the liberation struggle, but also to seek for his counsel in terms of what they need to do as they start their 5-year term here. Basically, they say this was a courtesy visit. They didn't have time to see the former president after he was released from incarceration, and they say they were seized with the matter of local government elections. So, and we also know that eThekwini was under threat of falling away to the opposition. But before we just get into that, Edward Zuma is here, he's joining us. He will talk to us. Let's just see if we can get a comment from him to hear how things are going here.
Well, look, I think we all know the condition of the former president, and the most appropriate people to pronounce on his current condition would be his medical team and his legal team. It would be inappropriate of me to pronounce on such. For me, is to appreciate the support that I saw. You know, when I wake up as a person at home and I see many people, you'd obviously be curious to say, what is it that is really happening? Because this is something that we had not anticipated as a family. So clearly it was a surprise to us and we had to receive it as such.
Were you inside that meeting, Mr. Zuma? What was discussed, if you can share with us, please?
I was never inside in any meeting. Remember, I am a younger person, and when the elders are speaking, you know, you would have to respect them and give them that particular space until such time the elders call you and tell you as to what is it that was discussed in that particular meeting. Then one would have been able to say. But what one can say is that I would still insist. I insist that we appreciate their presence and we appreciate that they did in everything in their powers to adhere to the rules that have been put, you know, into the country due to this so-called, you know. However, all we are saying, we appreciate that and we are saying God bless them.
As the family now, Mr. Zuma, obviously the former president was released on medical parole. You must be happy to have your father back at home.
Obviously, who wouldn't be happy to have his father at home? You know, when your parent or your brother or your sibling or your relative, nephew or niece is incarcerated, it's not a nice thing, you know. So obviously, you know, it goes without saying that one was happy, particularly myself, because I'm one person who personally still believes that he's still being persecuted for something that he did not do, and they will still not stop. They will continue to persecute him until such time they get what they want. But one thing I can tell them is that they are not going to get what they want, because the man is very much innocent, he's very much clean, he's very much people-orientated. The only thing he's being persecuted for is for him for calling for radical economic transformation.
Who is persecuting the former president?
No, I think we all know that there are elements within the ANC. And, you know, I've always said there are rotten potatoes within the African National Congress.
Who are those?
No, well, look, like I said, I've said it before and I will say it again. Until such time the ANC calls for an internal inquiry of a spy commission.
But
then
you're not willing to name them at this moment?
Until the ANC appoints such an inquiry, I will name those people once the ANC appoints such an inquiry. We know them by name. We know we've got evidence to that effect. And until such time the ANC does that, we are not prepared to name names.
Do you know when is your father launching his eagerly awaited book, Mr. Zuma?
Well, look, I'm sure a book is a very private thing, and it's something that one individual does, in his or her own private place, So he's not told me about it. I'm going to give you, a favor to say, on your behalf, I will ask him, but I am sure you will all love the book.
So you don't know what is contained inside that book?
Well, I do not know.
Okay, Mr. Zuma, thank you very much for that. That is Edward Zuma, is the son of former President Jacob Zuma, basically saying, well, he's happy that eThekwini councillors and other councillors from other municipalities came to Nkandla to see his father. He says his father continues to see people and to engage politically. Perhaps, I'm not sure, Sally, if we still have enough time. If we do, I would like us to take a listen to what NTANDO KHUZWAYO told us about the purpose of the visit. Let's take a listen.
President Zuma is an elder, as I did say to you, in this province. He is also an elder who also is a member, by the way, of ANC in eThekwini region. So it is symbolic for us as councillors to take, to give our first fruits, because the sign of us buying this bull was taking our first fruits. From our first salaries, we took out money to buy him a bull and present him and say, our father, our grandfather, we thank you for your contribution. But also, as we embark on this long journey of serving people for the next 5 years, please say some words of encouragement and some words of wisdom unto us so that we may lead people diligently.
Sipha, I get a sense that it's what is under the surface that's key and important here. Seeing those scenes with you outside in Nkandla, one cannot help but remember the weekend before Jacob Zuma was taken to prison, where there was such concern about violence. And then we saw, after he was incarcerated, that the violence that hit the two provinces, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, was begun as a protest against his incarceration. Then, of course, it spiraled into massive looting, unrest and sabotage. What do you make of the undercurrents around this issue, and particularly if we think of the elections, where there was a loss of support for the ANC in eThekwini?
There's no doubt that the incarceration of former President Jacob Zuma did play a role in ANC losing support in eThekwini and in KwaZulu-Natal. Remember, some people threatened not to vote should the former president be incarcerated, and they threatened that the way he's being ill-treated and persecuted, according to them, is what will lead to them dropping the support for the ANC. Of course, that raises some questions if you will have members of the ANC who are perceived to be members of a certain individual within the ANC, not the organization. But since July, with those civil unrests, we have seen how former President Jacob Zuma continues to be a political force to be reckoned with in KwaZulu-Natal. He is still very much a dominant political player in the province. That is evidenced by the fact that in eThekwini alone, he was able to call Godfrey Philani Mavundla of the ABC party, who is regarded as his political ally. Now, Godfrey Philani Mavundla is a former mayor of Umvoti in Greytown, which is not very far from Nkandla. And PG Mavundla was on the verge of voting with other opposition parties so that the ANC was going to be punished and lose the only metro in KwaZulu-Natal, which is eThekwini. Former President Jacob Zuma, Ace Magashule, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, Senzo Mchunu, Nomvula Mokonyane, who are members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, they intervened in trying to persuade Godfrey Mavundla and other smaller parties, or should I say smaller parties, to work with the ANC so that the ANC retains eThekwini. So it's not surprising that you would see ANC councillors from eThekwini coming here to show their support to the former president here and to thank him for his contribution, something that they are not publicly acknowledging. They are not saying they came here to thank him for that, but we do know that one of the main topics of that meeting, agenda items, was to thank him for his contribution in ensuring that the ANC retains a eThekwini Metro. So whether you like it or not, former President Jacob Zuma remains a political force in the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. Some say he is divisive. Those who are here would be perceived as those who belong to his faction, something that they deny, saying, well, there is no faction. They came here as councillors of the ANC in eThekwini to see the former president. But the question is, we did not spot any of those who are perceived to be pro-President Cyril Ramaphosa, those councillors who are sympathetic to the current president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, were not here. It's all those who are here are those who are regarded as pro-Zandile Kumede, the former mayor of eThekwini, the former chairperson of the ANC in eThekwini region, by extension, supporters of former President Jacob Zuma.
All right, well, thank you very much for that update from Nkandla this afternoon. That's our senior reporter, Siphamandla Goge.